This episode of the Nerd Corporation podcast may contain spoilers and explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, nerds.
Talk about nerds.
Hey, this is Rob Weedoff. I play John Marston in Red Dead Redemption.
Hello, this is Jen Cohn, voice of Farah from Overwatch.
This is Waka.
This is Barry Bostwick, Brad Majors in the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
This is Manu Bennett, Deathstroke the Terminator.
It's Mike Zeck, designer of the black suit Spider-Man.
This is Jay Muse, Jay from Jay and Silent Bob.
This is Paul Nakauchi, the voice of Hanzo.
This is Carlos Ferro, the voice of Dominic Santiago in the Gears of War franchise.
This is Big Bang Michael Askey. You might know this voice as one of the original Red Power Rangers, as well as Colt from Three Ninjas.
Hi, this is Angela Kinsey.
What's going on, y'all? This is Mega Ran, teacher, rapper, hero, Writers Guild affiliate, and new Guinness World Record holder. Just want to let you know, you're listening to the Nerd Corporation.
You are listening to the Nerd Corporation podcast.
You are listening to the Nerd Corporation podcast.
You're listening to the Nerd Corp podcast.
You're listening to Nerd Corp, and it's a podcast.
Listening to Nerd Corp podcast.
And you're listening to the Nerd Corporation podcast.
You are listening to the Nerd Corp podcast.
And you're listening to the Nerd Corp podcast.
You're listening to the Nerd Corporation podcast.
You're listening to the Nerd Corporation podcast.
You're listening to the Nerd Corporation podcast. Snooch to the news.
Justice reigns from above.
Yuga waga taiki wo kudo.
Sup, bitches? Chit chat.
Welcome to the Nerd Corporation.
What up, everybody? It's Thursday, and you know what that means.
It's Hot Pocket Day.
Where?
Yo, I have Hot Pockets in the fridge. That sounds bomb.
Dude, I fucking hate Hot Pockets.
Why?
There's the door. So gross.
Why?
They are. I don't know if I ate too many of them in my younger years, but I am like
terrible as a person.
I am permanently just over Hot Pockets.
No shit. That's funny because I had this theory that I have the same thing with
motherfucker.
With ramen. I was like, I ate so much ramen as a kid. I was like, there has to be a breaking point where I'm just like, I can't eat this anymore. Because there are other foods like that too.
Yeah.
But the thanks, Ellie.
We have a special audience here today.
I kept thinking that like there's got to be a breaking point, right? Like where I just don't eat these foods anymore. Haven't hit it with Hot Pockets and ramen. I don't know what it is. I think mac and cheese is one of those.
And
ones.
you know I can't do ramen either.
Yeah.
Like it's just ugh. It's just way too bland.
I just like as soon as I hit that point where I'm like I don't really want ramen, I just get like a different flavor and now I'm fine. And not only that, like there's a switch between the packages of ramen and then there's the cups of ramen.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it is, bro, but I feel like I'm gonna eat ramen for the rest of my life. I'm a quarter of the way through my life already and I haven't. You know,
I'm the same way with what was it that you said?
Hot Pockets?
No.
Or ramen?
No, mac and cheese. Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I can't have so much mac and cheese. Like I'll have some here and there, but then like
I'll straight up eat an entire box.
I used to be able to eat an entire
still will.
box. Like I didn't give a fuck. Like I used to get brats and cook brats and then put
hell yeah.
Like you know the little cups that you heat up in the microwave.
Yeah.
I'll like combine like 3 of them. Like one's not enough.
Yeah,
I need more.
Heavens no! Have you seen how small they are? Fuck that.
See, I'll just straight up eat brats. Like I'll just boil brats in beer and then fry them up.
Hell yeah, brats and beer, dude. Fuck yeah. What kind of beer?
I just usually grab one. Like I don't even because I'm not a beer person, so I just to me it doesn't really even matter.
I always thought that Budweiser gives the best brats, but I don't know. Like it has to be like regular.
Yeah.
Budweiser. Like I tried it with Bud Light because I had some in the fridge from a weekend prior and I was like, whatever, I'll try that. And they sucked.
So, are the lights just like diet beer? Like, is that what that... Because that's hilarious. I guarantee if they called it diet beer, no one would buy it.
Just the Camel Lights or diet cigarettes.
Yes.
I hope we don't lose any fans, but I like Bud Light better than I like normal Budweiser.
Oh yeah.
Like I love a good Bud Light.
Well, and y'all know how I feel about beer in general.
Yeah. Dude, I bought in was it there was like an amber bock in the fridge one time, and I cooked brats in that, and that shit was amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought about like maybe checking out one of those Wasatch beers and maybe like cooking brats in one of them,
like in an IPA or something.
Oh my god! Can you imagine like if it like elevates that fucking flavor?
My favorite is probably anything Blue Moon. That's my go-to.
Yeah. Do you ever cut up lemons and put them in there? Or what?
Not
Is
if
it oranges? I can't remember which.
Oranges.
Is it oranges that goes with Blue Moon?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Fuck, it's so good.
Yeah. Not if I'm like just drinking it out of a bottle.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of work for me. But like if I get a Blue Moon at like the bar or something like that, they put like a little wedge on this side, and I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah.
See, and I'm not much in general of an acquired taste person. Like, if I'm going to like something, I like it right off the bat.
Yeah.
And if I don't like it right off the bat, I'm not gonna. How
do you feel about blue cheese?
Oh, I love blue cheese.
Yeah.
But like, again, that's something that like I liked right off the bat.
Yeah.
Same fucking thing with like fucking Vegemite. I love Vegemite.
Oh god, that shit is so gross.
It's pungent.
You can hit the fucking door with that Vegemite.
It is pungent as fuck, but I love it, dude.
Dude,
I
it's
fucking
just
love that
spreadable beer.
Yeah, but like beer is not this. It's not. There's a huge difference in flavor.
I guess I don't know. Like,
yeah, that shit's way worse.
Yeah.
I'll have to have you, maybe if Angela's willing to part with some of it. Her mom, or they go to this. It's funny because I'm going to talk about the movie called Midsommar, but Angela's Swedish. Her whole not her whole family, but her mom's side of the family is Swedish, and they go to a Midsommar event in Salt Lake every year. And she usually brings home a buck ton of chocolate from that event. And this year she brought this stuff called, it's something with an R, but it's smoked roe. Like, it's like actual, I don't know what it is, but it's like this paste and you put it on bread. And we'll have to have you try a little bit of it and see if you like it.
I like all sorts of stuff that, in general, people aren't really a fan of. Like, I love kimchi so much.
Yeah. I like kimchi, though.
But like,
I've never tried it.
The only place I've really been okay with drinking beer was in Germany, and even then at the start.
I mean, one in Rome.
Yeah, I mean, even at the start, that I wasn't a huge fan.
He was in Germany.
But
I was gonna say yes. Go on.
But then
that's it. Oh,
it was fine in the end, but it wasn't nearly as bad as the beer here.
I'm not much of a drinker to begin with.
I feel like
I definitely prefer hard liquor.
Drink a beer anywhere else but here, it's going to be better. Anywhere else but this state.
Oh yeah.
Unless you do go, because there are some of those Wasatch beers and like the ones you can buy the ones that you can buy at the liquor store that blow like your Bud Lights and shit out of the water.
Yeah. The apricot Wasatch beer used to be my shit. I used to, like, every time I'd go to Smith's, I'd always pick up a 6-pack of that apricot beer.
Have you ever had a Devastator?
Yes. Yeah, I don't like Devastators.
Yeah, we played a drinking game with those once,
Jesus
and
Christ.
never again. They're
that
very
the bad
dark.
Guy? Wasn't that the bad guy on Spawn?
Devastator.
They're super dark and like almost too dark for me, and they are each 7.5% a bottle.
Nice.
Which for here is like a
unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really. There was a point where that's probably where I got my gut, is I like didn't really drink beer to get drunk. I just liked the taste of beer.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, I should probably stop.
And that's probably why I'm still relatively skinny. I stick to hard liquor.
This humble bitch.
But it's podcast day.
Oh yeah! All right. I forgot why we were here.
Welcome to episode 58, Freakers and Ragers and Bears. Oh my. We're going to be talking about Days Gone, our impressions of it. Derek, did you get to finish it?
Mm-mm. No, I'm most of the way through, but I haven't quite finished it.
You've hit most of the bombshell moments. There's one that you're probably going to get spoiled on today, but I mean the ending is about what you'd expect, considering like where you're at. So it won't be anything too bad.
No.
So
So, before we do that, let's get on with some nerd news. We got a black Ariel.
What?
Yeah.
Hashtag not my Ariel.
Petition.
Eddie, I need you to enlighten me on this topic because I didn't see anybody like actually mad.
Oh, I've seen plenty of people mad.
I saw a lot of people that were like upset that people were upset, but I haven't seen anything else.
I posted a thing on Facebook, and that thing just
multiple things.
Yeah. Yeah, and but the one thing that I posted, and everybody was just up in arms, and I'm just I pretty much said if race is your only motivator for not liking Halle Bailey as Ariel, then you're kind of a garbage human.
Quick little tangent before we get off. I find the funniest part about this is the name Halle Bailey.
Well, so at first I thought it was Halle Berry.
Everybody thought it was Halle Berry.
If that was the case, I definitely wouldn't be down for it. Fuck Halle Berry.
What?
I'm sorry. Fuck Halle Berry. Because she has ruined... Oh, yes, true. But she has ruined every role, superhero-wise, that she has ever played.
It's really done
Granted, two, but still.
So the two that she's only ever done.
Yeah. Exactly.
That didn't really matter.
That's why I say
she's a great actress in movies on their own. Yeah. But for some reason she just can't take superhero direction.
I just think it's not, maybe it's not her bag, and so she doesn't really have that motivation, and she can't get into that headspace, and so it's just unbelievable. And it's
wait, what am I? A girl that dresses up as a cat? I mean, okay.
Wait,
Jesus.
I control the weather?
Yeah.
Who does that?
So, but yeah, no,
I just thought that shit was funny.
Yeah, so I said something to that effect, if race is your only motivator, then you're kind of a garbage human. You can dislike Halle Bailey, you could dislike her voice. She's a great singer.
What is she famous for?
She's a pop singer.
Okay.
She's from a R&B group.
Yeah.
It's two people, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's her and
she's the
else.
R and the other person's the B.
Yeah.
Hey.
No, she's the B.
Oh, she's the B. Okay, all right.
Yeah. And so, people...
Roustabout and Bailey. That's what they're called.
I just think people were just oh, well, this, that, and the other, and they're trying to, scientifically prove how this fake character is, supposed to be nothing but white. And now there are petitions. One petition was called, Make Ariel White Again, which is kind of...
I mean, that's right on the nose.
I want to say, I can kind of see where the not garbage racist people are coming from. Where, hey, I would like to see a remake of Little Mermaid, but I would like to see it how it was presented to me.
Right, and that's
fine. But then I get the other side where it's just
So, kind of splintering off from that point of view, you know that the producers and the people that chose this would cause a stir.
So that's my theory is that's why all of a sudden Disney's just oh fuck, here's the trailer for Mulan.
It shouldn't fucking matter. It shouldn't fucking matter at all.
No.
But these people did make that decision knowing that people were going to go up in arms.
Well, and my favorite thing is the people that are going, oh, what? So we're gonna make Mulan still she's still Asian.
Well, yeah,
because that's kind
of
fucking integral.
None of y'all motherfuckers would bat an eye if Mulan came out with that trailer. That's kind of fucking
integral to the story.
Well, that's one of the things.
As opposed to Ariel, has nothing to do with what race this pretend monstrosity is.
Yeah, and that's the shit that's been people will be like, oh yeah, so how would you feel if the little kid from Coco was white in the live adaptation? I was like, it would be wrong.
I would be confused because it wouldn't make any sense.
I would be that's exactly what I said too. I was like, I'd be confused because Miguel's whole culture is embedded into his narrative.
Well, and no one batted a fucking eye when they had
Jason Momoa.
No, well that too, but
all those thirsty bitches out there.
An eye.
I'm talking to all of you.
No one batted an eye when Last Samurai was goddamn fucking Top Gun. Tom Cruise.
Yeah, but that was a garbage movie anyway.
It was. And of course they tried to massage.
That shit was so weird.
They tried to create a premise in which that made sense. It was still dumb. But
they also what else did they tell me? Oh, what if Frozone was white? I was like, Frozone can be white.
Yeah, that's not integral to his character.
That's not
why is this even a fucking topic?
Because people are racist garbage people.
See, because here's the thing.
It's not like Frozone comes out in The Incredibles in a dashiki dancing to Lady Black Mambazo.
And he doesn't fucking live in Hell's Kitchen or fucking Brooklyn.
And here's the thing. Even if you're not a person who is like, fuck any race other than white, like even if you're not some crazy over-the-top racist, you have to admit that there's an element of racism there.
Yeah.
Whether or not
regardless of your
perceived.
Yeah.
There's a perceived sense of racism.
Well, it's not even perception. It's if you want Ariel to be white for the sake of Ariel being white, you have some amount of racist tendency. Like I
just feel like there's a certain amount.
It may be slight.
There's a certain amount of these people that just want it to be like true to the Disney source material, not the actual source material.
And they're the ones that are inadvertently getting called out for being racist when that's really not the case.
And to those people,
but there is a level of
to those people, I want to say the original still exists. It is not being. It's not like
they're not phasing it out. Yeah,
it's not like Back to the Future where he has the Polaroid and it disappears slowly as the new timeline takes hold. No, it's still there. You can still enjoy it. You don't have to watch the new one.
Not to mention
no one's making it.
Not to mention the fact that half of you motherfuckers wasn't even fucking with Ariel before any of this shit, right? Like none of you guys were that invested in the Little Mermaid. Like none of y'all have Little Mermaid socks and posters and shit. And if you do, cool. Like if you want that,
I do.
Like I called forks and shit dingle hoppers for the longest.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like
I was dreaming of a whole... No, that's a lie. Never mind.
Not to mention, Ariel is a goddamn hoarder.
Yeah.
She's a hoarder.
Can we talk about the real problem here?
No.
She's a hoarder.
Yeah. No, and
nobody tells her.
I want to tell you what the real fucking problem about this is going to be for me. For me, the real problem about this is seeing a live action talking fish, crab, and seagulls. Because that shit is fucking nightmare fuel.
I mean, these are the same fucking people that probably got a little upset when they found out that the majority of the Lion King cast is black people.
Yeah.
But they didn't have any merit to being mad because they're like, they're fucking animals.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? Like,
well, that's the thing is like,
they did John Earl Jones dirty, by the way, in those
James
fucking...
Earl Jones?
Or what did I say?
John.
Yeah, they did him fucking dirty in those promo trailers.
Yeah, and by the way, like, I've already gone through this type of shit with the Dark Tower movie.
Yeah.
Which, granted, for a myriad of other reasons that I've mentioned at length multiple times, is a piece of garbage. But everybody was pissed off because the main character, they cast Idris Elba.
Yeah.
The main character in the book is white. Right? And so everybody
was
all up in arms.
That was what I was going to ask, because in a book, unless they blatantly go out and describe it, you're not going to know what race somebody is.
Well, so in the book, in the series, it is a very important part of the plot because later on, one of the people that he brings into his quartet, his little group, is this black woman who has a split personality. And one of them is regular, just really chill, like, she's a very... proper person, and then the other half of her split personality is basically the part that was like the defense mechanism against racism, because she was from like the 1950s, and so this other personality was like honky this, honky that, and and so everybody was like, well, how are you going to do that if Roland's black and da-da-da-da-da, and so they kind of hid behind that, and I'm like, well, I mean, okay, cool, make her a white lady, make her split personality racist. There you go. Same fucking concept. Like, it's not that hard. Any writer worth his own salt can write around that.
I think it's the fact that, like, and you were saying something, Cole, about how, like, because they're animals, you can't see the white or black or whatever. And that's so fucking true, because the entire cast, the entire voice cast of Aladdin was white.
Yeah.
Every single one of the fucking exotic bird was white.
Yeah. The voice of Aladdin was fucking
Steve,
DJ's boyfriend from Full House.
Steve from Full House.
The whitest show in the world.
Yeah, dude, like
the whitest boy on the whitest show.
Yeah.
Like I guess it's only a bother if you can see it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, like
not to mention Aladdin in the animated show was pretty white himself.
Yeah.
They were all pretty white.
Yeah, like they weren't like it's supposed to like surround this whole Arabian culture, but none of the people are Arabian.
Well, you know, and when they tried to cast Scarlett Johansson as an Asian person, and you know, everyone was like, "What the fuck?" You know, and then you have all the right-wing people going, "Oh, what a bunch of little snowflakes getting upset about this," and then all of a sudden, I know, and then all of a sudden they turn around and go, "What? Ariel's white! How dare you!"
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's so selective and it's
Well, they did that meme with the Hindenburg flying, and it's like, I'm not as easily triggered as you snowflakes, and it's crashing. Like, what? Ariel's not white?
Well, it's the same fucking thing with the Death Note remake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're all upset, like, they call him Light Turner instead of Light Yagami and all that shit, and it's like, there are people that were like, I was upset about that, because I was like... but I wasn't, like, upset, like, I'm gonna get on my fucking phone and talk about it.
Wasn't that technically considered, like, a North American adaptation?
Which is fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's what they tried to say it was.
I mean, like, I get it, and it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but it was to me, because, like, there are parts of Death Note that really work with it being in Tokyo, and, like, I don't know, this whitewashing term, like, there's a lot of shit I agree with and a lot of shit that I don't agree with, but, like, that is the other side of this argument, where it's like, you know, but it wouldn't have been that big of a backlash if Ariel was white, because obviously she's normally white, or she is in the Disney movie. But I mean, just a lot of people, man, this fucking age of outrage that we're living in right now is so fucking done. Like, it's so over. Like, people just need to get the fuck over themselves. If you don't like it, don't go watch it.
Well, and like that's the worst thing about it to me is how short people's memories are of the fact that they just got done making fun of other people for being upset about the same thing they're now upset over.
Yeah.
And it's...
Well, I mean, not only that, but
so
like...
hopefully, you know, I hope we or I haven't offended anyone by saying this, but, you know, just
be consistent,
think a little bigger.
Liberalism, find a cure.
I know, God
well, I mean, the thing is, though, is that, like, if these people would understand that if you don't give life to these things that bother you, then there's a pretty good chance, like, if you have a demon, the best way to get rid of it is don't fucking feed it. Don't go into the things that perpetuate it.
Well, and just be open to other perspectives, for fuck's sake.
Oh, I mean, don't... It's so frustrating.
Like, because the second you just sit there with the thought rolling around in your head of, she should be white, she should be white, she should be white, she should be white, you're not letting any other information in, and, you know, just calm the fuck down. And think
it's
about
just
it from
sad that
outside.
we even have to have
just remember,
it's true.
She's a fictional character.
These are fictional
characters. Are fictional characters. It's fine.
Not to mention, Mermaids lore didn't even start here.
Yeah. Like
in it's what, Mesopotamia,
Syria,
ish.
Like there's, I mean with how much, especially in the ancient world where everything was. Long before writing, everything was passed orally.
Yeah.
You can't fucking know where it's from. Don't fucking pretend that you know where it's from.
Yeah.
We have like to think we have a good idea of where it's from, and we probably have a decent idea, but that doesn't mean that's where it fucking started at all.
Don't think you can Google your way into this conversation to be right.
Historians don't know the exact origin of it.
Yeah. Oh well.
I don't know. I just think it's sad that we have to have this conversation.
It's true. It's very sad that this even has to be a thing, because it's not only that, it's not geared towards you. This is not a movie for you. Unless you are a 6-year-old girl, you have no reason to talk about what race this mermaid has to be. I love the fact that she's black, not only because of the fact that, you know, it changes things, but my daughter can pretend to be another person You know what I mean? Like, you have no idea how fucked it is to hear my daughter playing with other little white girls and them telling her that she can only be Tiana from fucking Princess and the Frog because there are no other colored princesses. Like, fuck you guys. Like, if anything, just think of these goddamn kids.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, not only that, even like, getting it right.
Yeah.
Isn't she like she's black, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, doesn't even...
I mean, just these. It's the same thing that I come back to with like the Star Wars fandom. Like, you may not like it, but the people that have never seen, like the kids that are going into this that don't have that reference point, they're going in and they love this shit. Well, it doesn't fucking matter to them because it's new to them.
And, and think about the reasons that those weren't a thing in our past.
Yeah.
You know, there's a very big reason
I mean,
that only white people were all over everything.
Yeah. And it's because of Walt Disney.
So seriously, Disney had a 70-year catalog of white princesses before Tiana came out. 70 years! Can you imagine? Just 70 years of white bitches just fucking royal and chilling and regal and shit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
As if, you know... There are
That's the kind of world I want to live in.
White ones.
Yeah,
it isn't the same topic, but it's kind of similar. Is did you see that they removed a scene from Toy Story 2?
No.
So in the end credits, you know how they did those like blooper things. So there's this scene in
the Prospector Pete.
The Prospector Pete has 2 Barbie dolls inside his box, and he's going like, "Hey, I could get you a role in this movie," you know.
Yeah,
like holy,
like Harvey Weinsteining it to hell, dude.
Like, and I think with it's the newer like streaming versions of Toy Story 2, they removed that scene completely.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be gone from like
everything.
Any
it's just crazy
DVDs or anything produced
media,
here on out.
It's just crazy to think that like we've come so far in terms of like social interaction and what's okay and what's not okay, and some fuckheads out there that have ruined a lot of shit for us.
Well, it's like you were saying when you watched Eddie Murphy's Delirious. Just like in the first 5 minutes, he's dropping homophobic slurs left and right. You know what I mean? And you immediately you're like, oh yeah, no, this wasn't made this era. Like,
and people just go, oh, that was the 80s.
That's the way that I look at it, though. Is it's kind of cool just to see like where we're at now, where we used to be, and where we are now, and yeah, that joke. Before we went to go see Toy Story 4, we had a little bit of a Toy Story binge. And I was watching it with Angela, and I was like, "Whoa, that scene that doesn't translate to today, not at all." Yeah. That shit was. But yeah, it just goes to show like how far we've come and how not necessarily woke we are. Like I hate that term. I hate the woke. You know, I'm aware of like social injustices and shit like that. I hate that shit. But, like, it just goes to show, like, some things didn't used to be okay, you know? Or some things used to be okay, but they're not anymore.
Right.
And we just got to change to become...
Well, and, you know, I don't understand the people...
It's a delicate balance, for sure.
Like, I get that, you know, change is uncomfortable and weird, and you know, if this is what you've always been used to, then that's kind of tough. Now you have to change gears. But, like, I don't understand the people that get upset about... the fact that a society is trying to be more inclusive and kinder to each other, and calling those people out as, oh, you fucking bleeding heart. Why is that bad?
Yeah.
Like, why is it bad to try and be considerate of other people?
Well, I mean, there are times where inclusivity has this thing where it's like it's inclusivity for inclusivity's sake. And I understand where people come from, where they're like, fuck, I mean, like, why change it?
Yeah.
Like, why? But this is so minute. This is such a small change where it's like, this isn't what should outrage you.
Yeah, like, I mean, even so, to me, like, so, I don't give a shit what reason it's for. Like, it's making something better for someone else that doesn't fucking affect me.
Yeah,
you know,
it doesn't.
Exactly.
And
like, we already had the good one. We had that.
Yeah,
like we already had the white whatever. You know, like fucking. Doesn't matter what we do now.
I hope they go full bore with it, and now every motherfucker that's under the sea is black.
Yeah.
Fuck it, bro.
Yeah,
if you think you're upset about Ariel, Trident, bro.
Dude, I
just
love
wait till
that.
you
They're
hear
just,
about Jesus.
Disney's being all quiet, like, oh yeah, well, we'll just keep the rest of this.
Yeah.
Wait until y'all find out that God is a woman.
Yeah. A black woman.
What?
That's crazy, dude. Yeah, people just get outraged. I was on one thread and someone thought they were so fucking clever, but they were like, it's Ariel from Atlantis, not Atlanta.
There's every reason to at least be considerate of what you're putting out there and just think about what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
A lot of people treat stuff like this Ariel thing like the whole Me Too thing, like where people were like, oh, what? Can I not even hug women now? You know, like they
I mean, like, yeah...
You specifically probably shouldn't.
You should probably keep a good distance.
Yeah.
But like,
you've probably been told that before.
You know, it's just a bunch of people making facetious, ridiculous comments for the sake of argument who know damn well better and just want to be asshats, you know?
I don't know. I don't know. That's such a slippery slope, and I don't want to get into that. But it's like, it's hard to... I don't know. It's hard out there these days without, you know, it almost sometimes feels
hard.
like...
It's hard to be a racist, man.
It is. I mean, like, that shit is
constantly being made fun of.
Yeah.
You can't say anything without being called out.
You can't even call 911 on black people for no reason without getting your picture on the internet.
Yo, those fucking pictures of that white bitch wearing those sunglasses. They're fucking...
Which one?
Parking lot Patty.
Oh my god.
It's like, if you see this face, the cops are already on their way.
I thought it was Barbecue Betty or something.
Oh yeah, it is Barbecue Betty.
That's why I said which one. There are multiple.
There was this one video where it was the...
Permit Patty was another one of those.
Oh,
I think it was that one where she called the cops on the... lemonade stand.
Yeah.
Did you see the parody of that video where they're calling the cops or whatever? Like, yeah, there's this something's going on, and this guy comes in. He's a black guy, and he's wearing all camo, and his face is painted white. He's like, I can't have any of this here. There's no permits, but he's just like.
I mean, long story short is just let people
live.
Let people fucking exist.
Let people sell lemonade.
Yeah.
Buy some of the fucking lemonade.
Yeah.
Contribute. Don't be an ass.
People's behaviors are horrifying. Speaking of horrifying, you went to go see Midsommar.
I did. I did. It's a divisive film.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed it's very hot and cold. Like you either hate it or you don't.
I haven't seen anyone say anything about it.
Really? Well, it did just barely come out. So. Well, it came out last Thursday. Something like that. So, Midsommar is a film by Ari Aster. Ari Aster made a name for himself with last year's Hereditary. I've been on record saying that Hereditary was my favorite movie of last year. I was very much looking forward to this movie. I'd definitely say it's probably my most anticipated film, shortly behind the new Black Ariel movie. And
with this lead up, I have a bad feeling about what you're gonna say about it.
So no.
Oh, okay.
I fucking loved it. let me be clear. I fucking love this movie. I love this man. I will follow this man into hell and I do every time I go to one of his movies because he is fucked. He is fucked in the head. So Hereditary was this really fucking cool movie where the underlying theme was grief and trauma and family drama and dealing with trying to find out a way on how to deal with family trauma. Nick, you're the only one here that's seen Hereditary.
That's dealt with family trauma.
That movie, like that. So I like to go see, a lot of horror movies, and in the past I've, gone to them when they come out, and I walked out of there just like what is this?
Not a big deal. You were just walking
horror
away.
Movie bullshit. But I didn't actually go see this movie in the theater. I actually watched it on my TV, the new one I got. You could rent it through the TV, so I watched it because it was the first. I was like, what? Like I was like, how can I christen my 4K watching? What better way to watch this supposedly terrifying movie? So I watched
it alone.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And there's hardly any movies
Massage
out
your
there
nipples?
that will that like had the effect that movie had on me. Like I see a horror movie, I'm just like, oh, that was cool. There was a lot of gore and stuff like that. But like as soon as the defining part in that movie happened, I was hand over the mouth. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like
that movie, man. I had this thought this morning when I was getting ready for bed, is that I wanted to invite you over because I really want to watch it again, and I don't know if you guys wanted to join. I have a really hard time recommending parents watch this movie because it's very, very fucking hard to watch. Like, and I don't want to go too much into too many spoilers with that, but
I don't know if I could watch it then, because
it's hard
because anything that involves like even like the loss of a child, I'll break down. It's I'll straight up cry.
I mean, it's really, really fucking hard to watch, and Ari Aster is really like he doesn't really fucking he almost kind of comes off as cruel sometimes. Mm-hmm. There were multiple moments in Hereditary where I'm like, that was fucked up, and you probably shouldn't have shown that, but I'm really fucking glad that you did, because it adds this authenticity to this movie. Whereas, and not only that, he has this idea where he really doesn't like jump scares, which is so fucking refreshing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because Midsommar comes out at the same time as Annabelle, and the new Annabelle movie and the new Chucky movie, where these movies solely rely on fucking jump scares.
Well, and everything has for the longest time.
See, but that's what's so refreshing about Aster's work, is that he doesn't focus on scaring you as much as he focuses on like disturbing you and making you feel asininely fucking uncomfortable.
By the way, I don't remember if I've asked you this or not, but have you seen I think it's late 70s, early 80s, but it's a horror movie called The Changeling?
Oh.
Okay. I might have to see if I can dig that out and have you borrow it, because it's a great movie. Yeah. There are a couple of times where there's like a little bit of jump scary type stuff. Okay. But it's more just like creepy as fuck.
So, and that's kind of the thing with Aster, though, is that he's not like I said, he's not trying to scare you. He's trying to make you feel uncomfortable.
Exactly.
And the thing about Hereditary is that it's like non-fucking stop, like barrage of like
just uncomfortable feeling.
The movie begins and it's just uncomfortable. Like, and it's the thing that I walked away, Hereditary has its supernatural trappings where it has some stuff that's not really believable, but the thing that was so fucking compelling about Hereditary is the fact that the family drama, everything about this, like this scene when they're all sitting at the table and they're just fucking staring at each other, is one of the best fucking scenes I've ever seen on film. Like, Ari Aster's my favorite director.
Dude, that kid that played the brother, like, supposedly got induced with like PTSD after
he had to go away after he filmed this movie, and it shows, because I think his name is Nate Wolf, something like that. He is fucking brilliant in that movie. Second only to what's her fucking name?
Hang on. I know she's from United States of Terra. I know that. Give me a sec, I'll find out.
She is brilliant. She is so good. She is so good that she got, she's
Toni Collette.
Toni Collette. She is fucking brilliant in that movie. And she has to work with so little to get, like, she has to display such a wide array of emotions, and she does it so well. That movie is fucking, that's amazing. It sucks that I can't recommend it to other people because of, the material that's in it. But long story short, I really fucking love that movie. Really, like, honestly,
I'm sure I'll be able to watch it. Like,
it's fucking rough.
I might just like,
especially if
you need a palate cleanser after.
Probably. I mean, but I love that movie. Any chance I get to watch that movie, I will love to watch it.
I immediately turned on The Office after I watched that movie.
That movie stayed with me for like a week after I watched it.
Jeez.
It has like the most gut punching fucking ending ever.
All right, so what about the new movie?
So Midsommar is along the same lines as Hereditary. It has a similar structure in terms of like how things happen, but it's a lot different. It's not. I don't know. This movie has a really hard time with. How do we go about saying this? So the film is, for those that don't know, it's Ari Aster's gone on to say that it's a breakup movie, and you can, if you go into it with that, then you'll understand and what makes the movie great. But basically, so the main character, played by Florence Pugh, who does fucking brilliant again, she is going through a family tragedy, which is, devastating to her. And her boyfriend is kind of this real fucking douchey character who wants to get out of the relationship with her, but feels obligated to stay with her through her trauma, right? So they go on a trip to Sweden to partake in the one of their friends is Swedish and has this tradition of going to the Midsommar event. It's like a traditional thing that Swedish people do. In the movie, they say that it happens only not every 90 years, but it's funny because it's not. It's every year.
Every 90 years, every year.
So yeah, exactly. They go.
Well, if they do it every year, they obviously do it every 90 years.
And and they go and they hang out with these people that almost kind of seem like they're exiled from the world. They seem like they don't really. Well, let me see. They're just closed off from every kind of civilization ever, and it shows. Like they almost kind of seem like what are they called? Amish. Like they're just random fucking people out in the middle of nowhere. But they're family to this one guy. So the guy's like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. And to say anything else would kind of spoil it, but they go basically into some real culty shit happens, like to put it bluntly, and it's fucking brilliant. Everything about it, like it doesn't really stem from like actual Swedish traditions. Like a lot of it is like more like pagan shit. Oh. And like if you've seen the old Wicker Man movie, not the horrible remake with Nicolas Cage, but if you've seen the older movie, you'll know what you're in store for. But it's basically, it almost kind of is like just this psychedelic trip through a really fucked up, like a day trip, basically. And one thing that I noticed when I was watching it with Angela, I was like, this is the best portrayal of what it's like to be high as fuck, like during the day. Like on like mushrooms or LSD or something like that. Because like there's like so many moments where everything is like all wobbly, but there are moments where like only parts of the camera is wobbly. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. Like if you were to look at the mountains, like they're totally fine, but you look at the table and everything's all fucking wobbly. It's really fucking unique. And
Dude,
it's really
cool. Like when you look at anything else after playing Guitar Hero.
Exactly. Like you see that shit in your dreams.
That's the comparison that I'll make there.
I don't know, like it's a hard film to talk about because I really don't want to spoil it at all, but yeah. I fucking love it, and it's really really cool because now I can recommend one of Aster's movies that doesn't have like seriously fucked up material in it, like as of in speaking of Hereditary, I can't recommend it to a lot of people because they're probably parents, but Midsommar I don't give a fuck. Like if you like horror movies at all, you should definitely watch this movie. Like, there are times where it's pretentious and it seems like it's up its own ass. It's a very long movie. It's 2.5 hours long.
Jesus.
Wow. Which is extremely long for a horror movie. A lot of people are saying that it's a slow burn. I have my own little thing that I like to say what it is. It's like being choked to death by a fucking python snake. Like, there's this horrifying fucking beginning to this movie before the title cards even happen. And then I think it's like, that's where you see the snake, and the snake's already got you in your grip. And then the rest of the movie is just like slowly tightening, and you're like slowly dying. Like I think that the slow burn analogy doesn't really work for this movie because there's a lot of shit that like really actually happens quite quickly. And there's a lot that could have been cut out. Like I see that that's a common complaint with the movie, but whereas Hereditary was like a really long match that's like slowly burning down, and then like as soon as it gets to the bottom of the match, it hits a gasoline pile and just fucking blows up. Or Midsommar's kind of the same way, but there's a lot of shit that happens in between. And Will Poulter, he's the guy that plays...
Dude, I love Will Poulter.
So he's in this movie. He provides a lot of comedic elements to it.
I wanted him to be Pennywise.
Really?
Oh,
yes.
from like We're the Millers.
Yeah.
We're the Millers, yeah.
Okay.
That's the only movie that I knew him from.
Look at his smile and tell me he wouldn't make a fucking amazing Pennywise.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's in this movie. There's a lot of comedic elements to it, thanks to him. Which makes
nothing against Skarsgård, by the way, but
yeah, no,
because he did great.
Oh yeah, but which makes it kind of feel a little weird. There's at times where I don't really think that this should be a horror movie because it doesn't really scare. It's more like there are horrifying elements to it, but it's more like disturbing.
Just like
evoking
intense emotion.
And it's yeah. As soon as they step foot onto the grounds where all of the festivities happen, it's definitely uncomfortable, and it never really lets go. And it has a great ending to it, just like Hereditary does. But if you go into it with the right mindset and knowing that this film's kind of up its own ass and it's pretty artistic and shit like that, you'll come out of it happy. And it's definitely, I loved it. I know a lot of people don't, but I really fucking love the movie.
You know, by the way, one thing that we should mention too is Stranger Things 3.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it.
I watched it and it was really good.
I was talking to you before we started recording. Stranger Things 2, the season 2, really kind of turned me off to it.
I mean, I liked the second season as well.
I think that kid that plays Will is probably the best actor on that show.
Finn Wolfhard?
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. I really like
No, that's not Finn Wolfhard. Will's the
main kid.
Yeah, Will's
the one that goes missing in the first season.
I like crud, why am I blanking on his name? The curly-haired kid.
Oh, Gaten
Matazzaro?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I love that kid so much, dude.
He's a great...
So
he's like...
great.
As far as like... I don't know, like as far as intensity goes, like Will is probably because he had to do so much more than any of those kids had to do.
I just hope that kid, the curly haired kid,
Dustin.
Dustin. I hope that actor doesn't kind of.
Is it Madrasio?
I hope he doesn't get like in his own mind kind of pigeonholed into like, okay, well I do comic relief, that's my thing.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't sort of.
Yeah.
Take that onto his shoulders. I hope he,
Yeah, Gaten Matt
gets a lot of his own.
I haven't watched it yet because I got sucked into a couple other shows. I finished the 2 seasons of The Good Place. They're on Netflix.
Oh God, I love that
amazing
show.
Oh, they ended season 2. I was just like, no.
I know.
No.
Yeah.
But apparently it's in season 3 right now. Like, it's still on. And then after that, I started watching this show called Schitt's Creek.
Oh, I love Schitt's Creek.
Oh yeah, Schitt's Creek.
That show is phenomenal, though.
I love Schitt's Creek, and when the first season came out on Netflix, I watched it immediately because I've always loved Eugene Levy.
Mm-hmm.
He is fucking wonderful.
His comedic timing is unparalleled.
He's so
his kid on the show that plays David.
Yeah,
he's my favorite character on the show. He's great.
Well, and it's the mom from Home Alone. What's her name?
She's in all those Christopher Guest shows like Best in Show, Mascots.
Why am I blanking?
Catherine
on her
O'Hara.
Yeah.
Yep. And she is
awesome. Fantastic.
Like in the very second, I think it's the second episode.
And Chris Elliott is in it as well.
In the second episode when they are actually living in the hotel and the stuff starts dripping and she was like, oh no, I just cried myself to sleep.
Yeah, I mean just to close out on Midsommar, the movie was very fucking loud. Like like the sound level inside the theater was fucked up. Like during the previews, I was like thinking about walking out and being like, "Yo, can you turn this shit down?"
Oh, really?
Like it was fucking loud.
So it wasn't even just like the movie levels of dialogue versus.
This shit was fucking loud, bro.
So if I watch it like on a TV, I can keep the volumes at a consistent level.
Yeah. So, but the what I'm trying to get at is that didn't bug me because I loved the movie so much. So I absolutely recommend it. If you're not into it, there are moments where you could actually consider. You can probably think that you're actually bored. Mm-hmm. But I loved the movie a lot. But I don't know. I'm also a huge fan of Aster. But I recommend it, but not if you're squeamish. It's a very fucking gory movie. But yeah, I fully recommend it wholeheartedly.
And just thinking of Eugene Levy, I watched the latest season of The Flash that's on Netflix.
Yes.
Because Eugene Levy, of course, was in American Pie, along with that. I think, what is it, the third season?
Wait a minute, Eugene Levy's in Stranger Things?
No.
What are you talking about?
No, so
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Schitt's Creek.
Okay.
Yeah, we were talking about a moment ago.
The one where your Snapchat was like, "You're fucking your grandma."
Yeah, that he like because they basically the premise is they get all their shit seized by the IRS because their business guy fucked them over. They're like
they were super wealthy.
Family.
Yeah.
So they were like, "What can we do?" And it's like, "Oh, you bought your son David this town as a joke. Maybe we could go live there." So they live in this hotel in this town, and he's trying to fix the welcome sign. And it's just, it's a guy going like this, and this woman's like bent over in front of him, and he's like, there's a problem with the sign. He's like, "What do you have against my family? Just spit it out." And he's like, "Well, it looks like your grandfather is fucking your grandmother right up the ass."
Dude, it's a great, if you haven't watched it, you should definitely check it out.
It's great.
But anyway, yeah, Eugene Levy was on American Pie with Chris Klein.
Yeah.
And Chris Klein plays the villain in the latest season, at least the latest one on Netflix, the latest season of The Flash.
He plays Cicada.
Yeah, and he does so fucking good.
Yeah, he does.
Like, and I don't know if something has changed in the huge amount of time between American Pie and this, or if it was just what the character demanded in American Pie, but like, for me, he seemed very, like, unconvincing as the character in American Pie. Like, it seemed like it was kind of like he had a hard time with it, and so I wasn't expecting much of this, but he did fucking great as a villain.
Chris Klein did really well. Like, I'm watching it right now currently.
I mean, there were a couple moments where I was like,
he was super broody.
Yeah, where like not even just that, but he kind of did the whole like unnaturally gravelly low voice. You know, like he was trying to be Batman.
You metas caused all of this.
But, I mean, apart from those couple of moments where it was a little over the top in that respect, he did fucking great.
Well, as someone with, like, an open piece of his lung, you kind of have to, like, expect him not to be speaking so clearly.
Yeah. It was really good.
Right on.
It was really good.
Right on.
Anyway.
I have a small piece of nerd news.
Okay.
This comes from IGN. As of excuse me, as of July 6th, the upcoming Gears 5 tech test will be available starting on July 17th.
Hell yeah!
And
hell yeah, Batman!
It's also going to be available to Game Pass subscribers.
Oh hell yeah!
So hello,
hello.
It'll run from 19th to the 21st, and then again from the 26th to the 29th.
Okay.
Will allow players to compete in escalation mode matches, the new arcade mode, and King of the Hill. You can also get the tech test also comes with a Tour of Duty feature, which lets players earn a special banner and weapon skin.
Of course.
So that's coming up soon.
I did forget one thing related to gaming. WoW Classic is now out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, World of Warcraft Classic.
I thought it came out forever ago.
Well,
technically it
did when the game first started. I mean, personally, I don't know if I'll play it. I mean, I know I'm not playing it immediately, Because there's, at the same time as that coming out, that doesn't make any sense.
At the same time as that.
At the same time as that, there's also other
there's no words there.
There's other new content, like with the new patch, we can earn our way to flying and stuff like that. Because they'll do that, like they'll release an expansion, and then you can't get, like they'll have, this is kind of what they've done the last couple of expansions, but you'll get these 2 Pathfinder achievements.
Okay.
And so you'll do the first portion of it, and then when they do the second, like, big, huge patch of that expansion, they'll release the second portion of Pathfinder.
Okay.
And once you complete both of those Pathfinder achievements, you can then fly.
Okay.
And so I finally got all that done yesterday, actually. I got the second portion of it done.
Yeah.
And so now I can fly, and it's so fucking wonderful.
Yeah.
And you get back on WoW.
Because the new areas are great.
Yeah.
But, like, for... God, I'm sure they did this on fucking purpose. Yeah. Fuck you, Blizzard.
Fuck you.
But the main area, like your kind of your hub, I guess, if you want to call it that, is at the top of this sort of Incan-style pyramid, right?
Okay.
And most of the stuff that in that main city that you are going to want to go do, like your professions... and then they have this little device where you can go and break down armor that you don't need into, smaller disenchanted items and stuff like that you use for professions and all that kind of shit is at the fucking bottom of the temple. So without flying, you have to sit there and go down the stairs and go down the stairs and go down the stairs and go down the stairs, and then finally you fucking get there. Yeah. Unless, you're a priest and you have slow fall or that kind of shit.
You saying it like that just gave me flashbacks of going up the stairs in Final Fantasy VII. It's like, fuck.
But now, dude... Oh.
I was going to say, I remember reading an article when... back when that came out, of people saying that, like, people who have only been playing WoW recently were, like, reporting all these bugs in WoW Classic because they didn't know that's how the game was when it came out.
Well, and that's what I was saying all along. Like, Classic is a cool idea. I know they have a core following of people who actually do want vanilla WoW and all that. But I think there is also a huge percentage of people that had the biggest boners for Classic that have no idea how Classic really was, or that at least don't remember it, and they're seeing it through rose-colored glasses, because vanilla was as much of a nightmare as any expansion has been. And in other ways was more so a nightmare than recent expansions.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure there are some people who just absolutely fucking love it. And I know one guy who doesn't, like, he's only maintaining his subscription for vanilla or for Classic, and that's cool. But I feel like that's kind of a minority compared to everyone else, because what they've done, especially with the last, like, 3 expansions, is they've made it progressively more of a casual game.
Yeah.
Like, they've stripped down the abilities, made it so much easier, so much more cookie cutter.
Yeah.
So that people who aren't, like, fucking gaming masters, it makes it so anybody can get into it. And as long as you pick this ability, that ability, that ability, that ability, that ability, you're gonna be good.
Yeah.
Not great, maybe, just because, there's still rotation involved.
Yeah, of course.
So on. But the gear is pretty much uniform. The fucking abilities are pretty much uniform. There is basically, now in the game, there is a right way to build your character.
Okay.
And back in vanilla, there were just crazy amount of options, and you could have a very good character doing whatever it was that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
You could really mix and match and change it up and do what you wanted to fucking do.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so, like, and I think a lot of the people that are, now playing the game and have had it geared this way toward them are going to try classic and go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know? Like, I remember back in vanilla, you know, because I main a hunter, and I always have.
Yeah.
My hunter has always been my main since the word go. I remember back in the day, you had to either buy or craft arrows.
Okay.
So you had to carry your projectiles with you.
Yeah.
Hunters used mana, which we don't anymore. It's completely different now.
Yeah.
You don't have to carry ammo. You had all these different little things that you could, like different types of ammo that you could buy. Like if you got rep with this one faction, you could go and buy an arrow that does more damage.
Okay.
And all that type of shit. And you know, so there were all these little things, and you know, now that like you don't, none of that is a thing anymore, and it's kind of nice in some respects.
Yeah.
Then again, and also like with hunter pets, you used to have to feed your pet.
Yeah.
Like you would have to literally feed your pet.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, they would get unhappy, and once they got to a certain level of unhappiness, they might fucking run off on you. There goes your pet. And oh god, what else? Like just all sorts of crazy shit that now you don't have to deal with.
Yeah.
But there are other things. Like I kind of personally liked the realism of having to have your arrows.
Yeah.
I mean that sucks because it takes up bag space, of course. Yeah. But I kind of liked that aspect.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You know, but there were definitely like the pet feeding shit.
Yeah.
Didn't like that.
Yeah.
Also, back in the day, hunters could use almost any weapon in the game.
Really?
And almost any. I think there were like 2 or 3 weapons that you couldn't use.
Really? Like
maces,
what the fuck?
And I think 1 or 2 others that you couldn't use.
Really?
But you could use staffs. You could use, any type of, bow and arrow, crossbow, gun, knives, daggers, fucking fist weapons. Like you could use fucking almost anything.
Yeah.
Now you can use staffs or bows and crossbows, and that's it. That's it.
Hell yeah.
And so that's kind of a bummer. Like especially with the fist weapons, I love because the fist weapons they make some really cool looking fist weapons. And so it's kind of sad that we don't use those anymore. But it would it was a thing where you used to have the slot for your bow, and then you'd have like a fist weapon, another weapon slot or whatever, and so you could equip both. Yeah. But now it's just the bow.
Okay.
But yeah, no. So like, I think a lot of people are psyched about Classic that probably aren't going to be playing it for very long.
Yeah.
But it definitely has a hardcore core audience.
Yeah.
So,
makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, I got my flying, and life is good.
Hell yeah.
I'm so stoked about it. But anyway.
Hell yeah, Batman.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, Batman.
So now on to the subject of the hour. Days Gone. This game, it has its moments. It has its ups and downs, but overall,
that's one way to say it.
Overall, I think it's a really good game. Like PlayStation exclusives never let me down in any way.
No.
So I feel like this game really it delivered. I think it delivered. For those of you that don't know. You play as Deacon St. John, played by Sam Witwer, and you are basically trying to survive in this apocalypse made by a disease where it turns people into what they call freakers.
Zombies. They're fucking zombies.
They're zombies, yes. They're it's pretty much World War Z with motorcycles. But It has great elements. I personally hate Sam Witwer's acting in this game.
It's pretty awful.
It's just God, like it's just like he didn't like they just gave him these lines and say them this way and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to kill my friends?
Like it's everything he says is an extremely unnatural delivery.
I feel like the bad parts are just when he's out in the world, like, talking to himself. But when he's in, like, a major cutscene, like, especially towards the end...
I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, the cutscenes, everything else is fine. It's just the random
See, I just think that they tried to go with the idea that he's not really all there, which I don't really feel like you are if you're in a situation like that. Like, this is the end of the world. Like, you're constantly worried about survival, food, ammo, stuff like that. Like, I understand the direction that they were going with, but it definitely feels
And I mean,
weird.
I could get that. Yeah. I could get behind that if it were more of like an isolation thing. Yeah. But he's around people all the time. There's no reason for him to be going stir crazy or loopy or anything.
That could just be a mixing problem, though. Like, like you're talking about like the issues when he's like when you have a companion and like when you're on like the bike and.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just mean like when anytime he says something when he's alone and he's like, I'm like, okay, calm the fuck down, man. Calm down.
I mean, they tried to do the direction that they were going is that he's a little unhinged, and it just doesn't.
You're gonna kill my friends?
It doesn't come across that great. No.
Yeah,
but you're murderers and rapists and thieves.
Want to kill my fucking friends?
I think gameplay left a little to be desired, especially with like the bike mechanics. I never. Like, towards the end,
And the bike fucking sucks in the beginning.
Yeah, dude. In the beginning, you just feel like you can't get a hold of that thing.
I mean, not as bad as at the beginning, but I feel like it kind of sucks the whole way through.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, because the thing is, like, they give you tires and shit to, make it so that you can control your bike better. But at the same time, they also give you engine upgrades that make it worse. So you're, like, constantly still at that same balance because you're upgrading both at the same fucking time.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree. I think the bike really sucks in the beginning. I think it progressively gets better with like handling upgrades and all that. I still never mastered the bike. Like, I don't feel like anybody really ever will. But I definitely feel like once you get to the point where you're upgrading it like consistently. I really liked my bike by the end of the game. It never got, like, their whole idea was like, oh, your bike is your companion.
Right.
And a lot of people were sharing the sentiment where it's like, oh yeah, I mean, like, my bike was like my best friend and all this shit, and I never fucking.
What?
Well, I mean, like,
bro, I could have thrown that bitch off a cliff and I wouldn't have given shit
that
about
bike
it.
meant nothing to me in comparison to my horse from Red Dead 2.
That's the thing that a lot of people were like trying to compare at the same time. They were like,
it was only there because without it, it would have taken me forever to play that game.
Jeez Louise.
What I don't understand about the whole bike thing, why is it that the entire post-apocalyptic world has decided on motorcycles? Why is
that's another critique. It's fucking weird because there's cars everywhere.
Yeah,
and nobody wants to fucking drive a car.
But imagine driving a car through one of those tunnels.
Well, yeah.
It makes sense.
If people were driving cars, the tunnels would be clear.
Yeah, but it's easier to maneuver. I mean, not in the game, but like if you think of it like realistically, it would be a lot easier to just have a motorcycle.
Yeah, but like, why not also a horse? Or some other.
See, I see what you're saying.
Because a horse is a living creature. Like you're gonna have to.
Yeah, the freakers are gonna eat it.
Care for the horse. You're gonna have to protect it from zombies.
Yeah.
They're not nearly as fast as bikes, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
And
I don't know. My horse from Red Dead, that was a fast motherfucker. Fast as fuck, boy.
I think, but I mean, like even in the end, there were people coming in with cars. Like, you guys remember that? Like when everybody was like coming through to like.
And when you go and you're gonna go and blow up the military encampment, all of a sudden you just have this giant truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird design decision.
About the truck, like in some mission where they're talking about, oh yeah, we're getting this truck ready.
Yeah, you're a lot closer to the end than I thought you were then. But yeah, it's.
Well, I mean, that was like a ways ago when you first get into the camp and he's kind of laying out the whole plan.
I don't know. It's a weird design decision, but I understand where they're coming from. It's kind of just the world,
Yeah.
It makes sense what you're saying, Nick.
Plus,
where
it caters a lot to his character because he was in a motorcycle gang. He wasn't in a car gang.
Yeah, but not everyone was. So like,
yeah, a lot of the people that you interact with were
though
a part of his.
And a lot
backstory.
of them are like bike mechanics and shit. It
yeah,
makes sense,
I guess, but like, what are the odds?
It's a little weird. It's a little weird for sure.
But
didn't
I mean,
he
it's
used
fictional
to
anyway, so
he used to ride with like Ricky and all of them, didn't he?
Yeah,
Like, he
Ricky-
actually knew them,
Yeah.
didn't he?
I don't know if he knew him
I think he
when
knew
the
Ricky.
fall happened. I don't know if he knew him when the fall happened or before the fall.
Well, yeah,
I
because
think-
didn't he when you first run into him? Aren't they talking about how he like fucked over Iron Mike like a long time ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But it was during.
But it was during the
apocalypse.
okay.
Well, and I don't like how there are certain things that, like, I realize that they tried to do it in the sense of like a big reveal, but I don't like what they did where, God, what's his name? The leader of the
Carlos.
Carlos, yeah, where they all of a sudden he's like, oh yeah, me and Carlos, we knew each other. We like pretty much tried to kill him. Almost.
Yeah, that part falls flat for me.
Like they just it just seemed like half-assed, stitched together at the last minute.
This game wasn't made for you guys.
No, that part's really fucking weird because
I agree with that, though.
The leader of the what are they called? The
Rippers.
The Rippers and it is a bombshell moment where it's like they find out that the leader of the Rippers is a guy that was a newbie in the gang that they used to run,
and
the only reason why
fucked
he's
up
all
and-
fucking vengeful and shit is because what's his name? Deacon and Boozer would like haze him.
Well,
But it's like that's part of the gang initiation. So if you're like butthurt about that, then
Well, I don't
like,
think it was that. To me, it sounded like he did something fucked up, and they were part of the gang thing was that they were punished. They punished him for it.
I didn't.
That's what I thought.
No,
But, like,
he's just like
but
he's just a bitch.
Haven't you even seen Sons of Anarchy?
But like that's the thing is that when he realizes it's Carlos, that whole thing fell flat because his reaction was like, "Oh, it's Carlos."
Not only that, but like
Or, no,
Carlos
that-
wasn't in any of the
Jesse.
flashbacks
Jesse,
or like
yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. He wasn't anywhere in the backstory. It
That's
was just like, "Oh, look, it's Jesse."
That's one thing that I would have liked to see more. Like, I appreciated the flashbacks, like filling in the story and what happened before.
Yeah.
It was nice to see like you're driving when you're like, for example, when you're taking Sarah from her work and there's like actual cars driving by and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to see more of like gang action flashbacks.
Yeah.
Like, riding down the road.
See, but I don't think that they were like an actual gang. I think that they were just a motorcycle.
Well, so yeah, a motorcycle, like
An
flashbacks
MC.
to the actual
and
MC.
I think that the reason that part fell so flat for
That
me
makes
was
sense, Nick.
his lack of reaction, like his lack of surprise. It was just like, "Oh, Jesse, yeah, no, we did some fucked up shit, and he got in trouble."
It was a whole thing.
Like,
they easily
was
could have
just-
cut that whole part out, and I would have loved it a lot more.
Yeah, I mean,
was because like there was this air of mystery around Carlos. Like I
Yeah.
much rather would have loved him if he was just kind of this psycho guy that like had this weird culty moment when the fall happened, and
I mean,
it's like
either way, like had
Or-
they put it in the backstory, like Nick said, or like you just said, had they kept the air of mystery, either one of those directions would have been way better.
I was thinking of this, like, make the big reveal when you come face to face with him in the Ripper camp. Like he comes
Like a
out of the
flashback.
shadows and he's just like Carlos, like, and then that's the reveal. Like,
it was just such a weird moment because he like comes out and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Like I'm supposed to know who this guy
Exactly.
is.
That's
Like,
what I thought too. I was like,
Oh,
wait,
it's
did
Carlos.
I
Yeah.
miss something?
Yeah, Derek, you messaged me and you're like, "Hey, am I supposed to know who this Jesse asshole is?" And I'm like, "Nobody knows." Like he just shows up and he's the homie all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So I mean, that
the
that
Rippers
was-
were a cool enemy, but yeah, I wish that they kept that air of mystery and everything.
Yeah.
there were I'll admit that, like, because I was like, okay, this is like a Sony exclusive. All the other Sony exclusives that I've played have had like tear-inducing moments. Like God of War, Last of Us, like, I mean, like big name brand action games.
Yeah.
And nothing, really took that effect on me until you have to go out. What's his name? The junkie kid. When you have to go chase after him.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he fucking just like he puts him out of his misery. I was like, oh fuck, dude, no, like And then they show up and it's like, oh yeah, he overdosed. And I was like, yeah, no, you did it.
Yeah, no,
that part kind of hit me.
Because they did have several times before that where they attempted to draw emotion out of you, and they were just blank.
It's like that one time when we were doing the impressions or whatever, and I was like, okay, they're playing this music, you're driving out with Boozer. I was like, this is the scene where you go out and you just put him out of his misery.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And it's like, oh no, we're gonna go get you some medicine. I'm like, what?
Yeah, they have this really heavy music, this really emotionally laden music, and then nothing fucking happens.
Yeah,
like it's a good game. I liked the gameplay. I liked
combat was really fun for me.
And by the way, I don't think you, Eddie and Nick were here yet, but I was telling Cole the other day they did like that big patch, and now when you get on the bike before you start moving, the wheel doesn't spin anymore.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, because I remember you telling me that was really obnoxious.
Yeah, I was like, why in 2019 are we unable to make the wheel not spin when you're not fucking moving?
Yeah.
So I wanted to touch a little bit on, because I know that obviously, like, for anybody that's like playing the game or anything like that, like the Sawmill Horde is like the fucking horde. Like that's the main.
So wait,
horde.
which one is that?
It's where you.
It's the one that has that big derailed train.
Okay, because that's the one you were like. I think that you thought I was on, but I was on that first horde.
Yeah. Oh, the Sawmill is the third one that you do.
Okay.
Yeah, the first one that you...
And I pretty much did what you told me, and it worked fine. But
I had a weird moment with that horde, because I did it way before I should have. That horde actually is, like, probably one of the big last set pieces of the game, but the game expects you not to be able to do it until then.
Uh-huh.
So I had already done it, and then I come up to the point where...
You have to do it.
All right, I'm gearing up, and he's like, he's making fucking... He's talking to Boozer, and he's like, oh yeah, just stay right behind me or stay clear or something like that. And he's like getting ready to go fight this horde, and then it just goes black, and then it goes to another cutscene.
There's no horde there.
Well, it goes to another cutscene, and Deacon's like, I just fucking finished it. Yeah, it skipped it.
That's fucking cool.
It's fucking weird though.
So what were you saying, Nick?
So what happened with the first horde that you do, the one at the gas station, I actually wasn't able, like, that's the one I struggled with the most. So I ended up dying so many times that it gave me the ability to skip that scene. So I skipped it. Yeah, I skipped it, and I was like, okay, that's fine.
Whatever, yeah.
See, and then I did the opposite. I was like, no, fuck you, I'm gonna do this!
I got to the Sawmill Horde, and I was like, oh, fuck, okay, I'm just gonna die.
Yeah.
I'll do the same thing. Yeah. And I went around the giant building, like, so I get to the sawmill, and I'm there. It's one of the the opening in the fence that's right here, and then there's the mountains, and then there's the Nero trailers are right here.
Yeah.
And I inched up, and the way that I actually passed this horde, it took me a while, but it was easier than the first one. I just kept running up. Like, the horde was split up, so I would run up, I would lure a group of them, and then I'd run back, and I would just shoot them. And then I'd pick off, like, individual groups of them, and I just did that for, like, an hour until I had taken out the entire fucking horde. I didn't have to use any traps. I didn't have to use any mines. I didn't have to go back for any ammo. I just kept doing that.
On that first one, what I initially was trying to do is, like, I was getting all into it. I was like, all right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lay down. I was like, I'm going to lay down a line of proximity mines, like here, and here, and here.
That's like, easily one of the most satisfying parts.
Going like back towards, like, so like if you're looking at it, like, you know how there's that big semi, and then there's that T in the road, and that's where they are down there. Yep. So I was like sitting right there. I laid a trap down there, and then I ran back, laid a trap like kind of right between those semis that lead back to that propane tank.
Okay.
And then I was going to go around, and I laid another trap there. And so I was going like all the way around the perimeter. And dude, I got to within like that much of the bar, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I got like less than a quarter of them left.
Yeah.
But like by that point they would not stay close enough together to where I could get them all without them just converging on me all at once.
The first time I tried to do that, because you know when you're going in and Corey's like, "Are you sure you don't need help?" I'm like, no, I got this. And he goes, "All right, well, let me know if you need help." The first time I did this horde, I like ran back up to him and I was like, "Help me, motherfucker!" I'm like, "What are you doing? You're just standing there." You said if I needed help, and sure as shit I do.
I need some fucking help.
Yeah, no, and that's what's fucked up is I was like, "Yo, remember when you offered help?"
Yeah. And then he's just watching like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then he just stands there while they eat him.
That's fucked up. No, the way that I did the sawmill horde, so you come up to the sawmill, right, and the Nero checkpoint is to your right. I took that little road on the left, and I ended up in that area where they have the stacks of lumber and the big silo that's right there.
Yep.
There's a little patch of grass, and so I had enough equipment to make a tractors 3 times over, and so I hid in the bush, and I threw in a tractor, and that first attractor brought them all to me, and then I threw in a tractor bomb, and I repeated that for like 2 or 3 times, and then I threw one last tractor, and I threw like all the napalm Molotovs that I had. And I got to like a fourth of the barn, and I just like had them follow me up and down the sawmill after that.
See, I'm having a hard time finding car alarms. And I realize it's the same alarm that you can find in the houses, so maybe I just need to go do a bunch more exploring
mostly in the houses. Yeah.
Because like,
did you see the one at the first horde?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, because I remember seeing one there, but
yeah,
I don't fuck around with those.
Well, and it was a bummer too because I found this like small kind of isolated horde just randomly, and I was like, "Oh man, I've got no fucking attractors!" And I couldn't make any. I didn't have the alarms for it. I was like, "Son of a bitch!"
Dude,
so I just had to leave. But I was so sad.
I took down that first Nero horde, the one that's under that train.
That's the first one I ran into.
I ran into that one and I took it down, dude. Like, and I still had like level 1 guns and like,
yeah.
See, and now I'll be playing the game and I'll be driving around, and the fucking bar will just pop up, and I'm just like, oh fuck! I'm like looking around, like, where is it? Where is it? Like, I don't want to deal with those anymore.
One thing that I was not expecting, especially from a PlayStation exclusive, was how buggy it was.
Here's the thing with the bugginess about the game. So the reason why this game came out to like kind of weird, media perception is the fact that this game came out way too buggy. Way too buggy.
For fucking how long they were hyping that game up, and
not only hyping it up but delaying it. They delayed it like 3 times.
I don't know. It's.
Can you imagine if they hadn't?
It probably would have been perfect.
I don't know. It definitely... This is one of those games that could have been under the lamp for another... 2 months.
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't like... There were some fucking rage-inducing bugs in my playthrough. But eventually, I have such a weird trajectory with this game because I fucking hated it when I started playing it.
Yeah.
I did not like this game at all. There was actually a moment where I was like, I don't even want to fucking play this anymore.
And I didn't want to play it either, like, for the first half, but, like, it wasn't just, like, an outright loathing. It was just, like, a complete and utter, I could take it or leave it. Just total lack of any sort of...
The game pissed me off.
Interest, but... I just like, and that's why it took me so long because I didn't even start it really until a couple days ago because I played it a couple times and I was just like,
I know that Cole, when we talked about this a while back before, and you were mentioning that I was experiencing the same fucking the chugginess of the game.
Oh my god!
On a PS4 Pro,
yeah,
on a 4K TV, like it shouldn't have been a thing.
Yeah, that shit was rough. And then I talked about it on one of the previous casts about how I
did that soft reboot.
Yeah, did the rebuilt database on the PS4, and then it like completely fixed it. It was so weird because I haven't had that issue with my PS4 on any game since then.
It didn't work for me.
Really?
It didn't. I rebuilt the database twice. And
I haven't noticed anything too crazy as far as bugginess for me.
I had a thing over at Sarah's church where you know how there was an infestation there or whatever. I had cleared the infestation, and it would still show me that I had infestations there. And
that was frustrating.
Every time I'd pass by, I was like, I gotta clear these nests. And blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, where? There are no nests there.
There's no nests there.
The only like actual like bugs that are visible besides the chugging of the game were the one where I mentioned it last time in Copeland's camp where the guy was like crouched like in the air.
Yeah.
I had another one. I wish I should have recorded this or took a screenshot of it, but it was back in the military camp after you blow it up and like after you do everything, and it was because the corpses are still there like right after you finish the game.
Yeah.
And there was one. His gun was laying on the ground, but he was floating in the air like this, just dead set. And I like walked up to him and I went to search him, and he like reached down to where the body should have been and like picked up a rag or whatever, and I'm just like looking at him, and he's just like.
There was one body that didn't go away from me, right next to that hub. You know how you have to like walk up the hill to get to like right there from where like the ark was or whatever, and then you walk up the hill and there's
that hill.
That hill, dude. There's like even now there's still a body there, just like dead, chilling, like the old soldier dude.
So how did y'all feel about the love story?
That love story was whack as fuck to me.
So I mean, obviously, I haven't seen the end of it, but like same thing with kind of any of the other stuff that's supposed to be an emotional payoff.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is with that, they showed a ton of backstory.
Yeah,
but it was just none of it really seemed relevant. None of it really seemed all that emotional. Even the parts I know really I should care about, I could not have cared less about.
They pushed really hard in like all of the flashbacks have to do with Deacon and Sarah.
Yeah.
And the problem with me that I came across, the confliction or the friction that I was coming across is the fact that I fucking hate Sarah.
See,
I really don't like Sarah.
Why don't you like Sarah?
She's fucking obnoxious.
How is she obnoxious?
So she has this idea that like in the beginning she's fine because she's like this cute little you're a big bad biker guy. I kind of like danger, like that shit was okay, but like then she starts getting like all the fucking tattoos and shit, and it's like, oh okay, she's being
she's
introduced.
Acclimating.
She's acclimating to the biker life, and then. The biggest spoiler
which
of the game,
we didn't even see.
Yeah. The biggest spoiler of the game is the fact that Sarah is alive. You go through most of the game thinking that she's dead. You know, like there's a little headstone. There's this Nero camp where she's got like her own headstone, and you can go up there periodically to like, talk to her and shit like that.
Stuff.
Yeah, and like I don't think I was shocked at all to know that Sarah was alive. In fact, I went through the whole game thinking this bitch ain't dead, And so when you eventually find out that she's alive and she's there, which comes across like this part of the game is hard for me to talk about because I really don't like the direction that the game went at this time. So the first half of the game, you spend all this time developing all these relationships with all these people on the south end of the map. Which is great, Iron Mike's camp is great, and what's her name, Ricky. Mm-hmm. Like there was this like kind of like it was almost implied that like maybe Deacon and Ricky had a thing,
right?
Before she,
Addie,
like
they almost like got into it.
I mean,
too.
I don't know if they meant to like say that they had a thing, but I think that they were trying to imply.
It was pretty on the nose.
I think that they were trying to imply that there were feelings there in the past, not necessarily that
like
they had
the mission name between everything that you did with Ricky was called Somebody That I Used to Know, and it was a heart with 2 wrenches. Like there, I mean, like it was pretty on the nose that there was something.
At the end of that one mission,
I personally think it was an unspoken thing.
At the end of that one mission when she's patching you up and you got your shirt off and like they come like this close to just fucking right there.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, she explains her disdain for him going south. Was she growling at you?
She was.
Yeah,
she's like, you motherfucker.
She gets upset if you don't. Yeah, like there's, I don't know. It's really weird because there's a lot of like, I really love the area that you were in, and then all of a sudden Deacon's like, nope.
Yeah.
I'm going north. There's a chance that she's up there. I'm gonna go north. And then all of a sudden Deacon's just like this like subservient, like, yes sir, you know, like fucking cadet mentality. I'm like, this isn't Deacon at all.
Well,
Deacon,
I mean, he was in the military.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, like,
and I realize he has to do that with other people, but I think that's what I didn't like, is the fact that you have this whole relationship that they had built with Sarah, and then when you meet back up with her, she's like, nah, fuck you, call me man. Like,
I think that was more for like appearances.
That was for show.
Yeah.
And it definitely is.
They did
it's
it a couple
for show.
times, even when they weren't in the presence of anyone else.
I will say, while we're on the subject of finding her, I absolutely loved the Colonel as a villain. Like at the very end of the game, when he's got, you know, everybody in the room, and Deacon just waltzes in there, which I thought was weird. You know, when they're in the Ark in the room, and he's got Sarah at the table,
yeah,
and he's got the last of his guys, and he's just like, this is it. Like, this is God's will, and then Deacon just walks in. But I thought that he was a good villain. Like, he just...
I agree,
so,
just that...
So does Deacon get promoted, or does he stay Colonel pretty, like...
No, he stays.
Yeah.
So, what did y'all think of, what's the douchey California guy that's wearing the...
Schizo.
Schizo! What'd you think of Schizo?
Fuck that guy.
He did such a good job at making everybody hate him.
Yeah,
He did,
but...
but...
It annoyed me that they... sort of just kept him in there against all of the natural instincts of everyone around him.
Yeah.
Knowing that he was bad news. Like, and I get Iron Mike is like, no, well, you know.
Nobody left behind.
Yeah. But, like, at the same time, and he's like, oh, well, I'm watching him, don't you worry. Anytime Deacon would try and bring something up.
So have you gotten to the point where Schizo comes back up?
Oh, no.
Okay, so...
Well, because, yeah, I know Iron Mike said he let him go.
Yeah. So Schizo comes back into the story, and it's...
Which is like the most unsurprising turn of events.
Well, I mean, it's like his how he comes back into the story is where I feel like his character arc starts to get really satisfying, because he's such a fuckhead, and the way that he comes back is like, ooh, you know, like, you fucking want to kill this guy. Even more than you already did before.
Yeah.
I thought he was a great villain. I thought that he was incredibly fucking annoying.
Like, he is. It's just that all the characters around him, their decisions regarding him make no logical sense.
Yeah.
At all.
Well, I mean, Schizo's only into, like the whole idea with him, like, backstabbing you in that part with the Rippers. I didn't like that part at all, because it was like, that makes no fucking sense at all. So his idea was to give you and Boozer up to the Rippers to make, you know, because the only reason why the Rippers are attacking Iron Mike's camp is because Deacon and Boozer are part of the camp now.
Even though his whole shtick, the central belief of Schizo is that no matter what, at some point, the truce is going to break down anyway. Like,
yeah, it just was fucking weird.
Yeah,
it's like,
he's going to give you up to preserve the truce that he doesn't believe is ever going to work.
Yeah, it was weird, and I didn't really like that part at all. But that's also at the same time you find out, like, who Carlos is and all this shit.
Right.
And, like, I didn't like it at all. But
that whole sequence was a mess.
It was fucking weird. It just didn't. I mean, it worked, but it didn't work nearly to the effect that it should have. You know what I mean?
Like, it moved the story along, but that's about it.
So, what else? So everyone's pretty much on agreement that they like the Hordes, right?
Yeah, the Hordes are probably the best part.
The Hordes are cool. Yeah, just doing that first Horde frustrated the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
But
I'm avoiding him in the end game, though. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, like,
I don't have to, but like I was saying, to like the parts that I've encountered, because I do want to complete, you know, the marauder camps and the infestations,
which
and all
you
that.
should.
But after those infestations, though, are accompanied by hordes.
Yeah.
I really, and I messaged in the chat when I finished it, I fucking loved the ending, though.
The ending, I said before that, like, the ending actually made me tear up. I really liked the ending a lot.
I'll have to go home and try and finish it tonight.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, just finish it. I mean, you're at the point now where it's like, there's no point in, like,
I'm
doing
not
any of the
worried
extra
about
shit.
side missions. I haven't been worried about doing side missions.
If you're not worried about platinum, then don't worry about it.
There was one point where, you know, I saw up where there was a side mission up at Sarah's headstone. I was like, yeah, nope. I just went, nah, that's out of my fucking way.
I think it's a special game just because I feel like there was a lot of heart put into it. I really love the music. I really love the. I like Deacon. Like, for all of his shortcomings, I actually really enjoy him as a character.
Yeah, it wasn't for lack of trying. It's just
his story was very well fleshed out.
It's just that a lot of
and
the big stuff missed the mark.
That song that they played during the end credits,
I love it.
That I've actually been following this guy because his videos keep popping up in my Facebook feed.
Yeah,
his name's Louis Capaldi, and he's number one. He's hilarious.
Yeah,
like, he's a funny dude. Like, this video just randomly came up, and I guess they keep coming up because I watched one of them, but that's fine because there was this video where it was either Noel or Liam Gallagher from Oasis was like, so who's this fucking Louis Capaldi guy? And he's watching the video, he's like, it's fucking me. Like, he's talking about me.
Yeah.
But I actually listened to him a little bit, and he's kind of, his music's more like on like the softer side. Obviously.
Yeah.
But he's a great singer. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Even though it was anticlimactic as fuck.
Yeah.
The song that they played when you do go to, hook back up with Boozer and then end up just getting him medicine.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah, that song was really.
That's why I'm saying, like, it put me into this mindset where I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna fucking pop him in the grass. Dude.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, he's gonna fucking American me the shit.
He's useless to me right now.
Just look at the flowers.
American History X, dude.
Don't look at me, little puppet.
Gonna fucking of mice and men him. Just
yeah, I mean they did pick some good music.
They did
for sure.
Yeah.
I think overall the game did really well. Like, what are your favorite weapons? What do you guys use the most?
The Tommy gun. I bought that gun, and shit was over after I bought that, dude.
Oh, would you calm down?
Yeah, the Tommy gun was sick. I really loved the LMGs. The RPD was fucking rad.
The one with the drum clip.
Yeah,
that's my go-to.
One of my go-tos, just because it's fun as fuck, is the bat. Like, I'll just do the bat with the saw blade.
Oh yeah,
love the saw blade.
Dude,
bat.
the melee combat in this game is really satisfying.
Yeah, the Ripper Club, like it was like a Ripper nail bat, but it's like it had nails on one side and on the other side it had two blades.
Yeah,
dude, that sucker would take out freakers in one hit, dude.
Yeah,
I also liked the one that you picked up that had like the lawnmower, the old lawnmower.
Oh yeah.
But one of my other favorite weapons was the Desert Eagle. Like I never left without that. You put a silencer on that.
It's
over. I know you all were talking about the fucking what was it? The crossbow.
Mm-hmm. Crossbow's my favorite.
I don't even use it.
I used it for the trophy, and that was it.
Yeah, haven't used
it
once.
I took down a horde with the crossbow.
Okay, I wanted to ask. So I know that Eddie, you asked this a while back. I don't know if it was on a podcast or not, but so there's the flame. There's the influencer, and then what the fuck else is there?
Poison.
There's poison,
which I just like.
There's
get
three.
There's poison.
Types.
There's fire,
explosive.
and then there's explosive.
Fuck, do you get explosive?
It's one of the very last ones that you do.
Yeah, you have to do it by finishing Marauder camps.
Oh, okay, so.
Yeah, and it isn't at a specific camp. You just have to finish.
Oh, okay.
One thing that I wish popped up a little bit more frequently was the materials to make the big, what's it called? Molotov cocktail.
The growlers.
Oh, dude, I have shitloads of those.
Yeah, I don't
big ones.
Yeah,
I never had enough.
I didn't have any trouble making
it's
those.
all about just fucking investigating the shit out of every building. Just go to every little corner of every little thing you do.
Those were great. The pipe bombs were great, making those on the fly.
Pipe bombs are cool. I like pipe bombs.
I thought the attractor bomb was a cool idea.
Yeah, the attractor bomb was pretty dope.
Not necessarily original, but I thought it was great for like taking out large amounts of zombies at the same time.
Yeah.
I just really like the thing I take away from this game are the hordes. I think the hordes are so fucking fun.
I think the hordes were a very special and integral part of making this game a success.
Well, I mean, like, either you run into it like me, like, totally haphazardly and just do it, like, on the fly, or you do it like you, where you're, like, you know, strategically placing bombs and shit like that.
Like,
I took,
that
maybe
method
50 seconds.
Never even worked for me, though.
Really?
Like, it almost did. Like I said, I got him till less than a quarter, I think.
Yeah.
But in the end, what I ended up having to do was just right pretty much at that T.
Yeah.
There's some tall grass right there.
Yeah.
And I just hunkered down. And I would... Well, first, I kind of went forward as far as I dared.
Yeah.
Laid down one of the proximity bombs.
Mm.
And then snuck back to that area, threw an attractor on it.
Okay.
And then once they all got there, blew that up, and then threw a couple of the big Molotovs, the growlers.
Yeah.
And then waited, like they all went back to their starting positions or whatever.
Yeah.
And then went back up there, crept back up there, put another one down, went back to the grass, and just did that over and over and over again until I got most of it.
There was one horde that I did where it worked out perfectly because it was in this like snowy mountain area at a camp that I was doing a mission for, and I noticed that there was a horde around there, so I went up and I was looking for them, and they came, you know, around this corner, and I just kind of instinctively ran out of the area, but I ran out of this like gate that was made, and then on the walls on either side were made out of logs with barbed wire.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. So I just lured them all over, and of course, sure enough, they all just tried to funnel through the doorway, and I was just sitting there with my LMG, just like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, see, and I fucking ruin them.
I did that at the with the college horde. You know how like right when you get there, there's just like a little concession stand, like a little like kitchen area where they serve food next to those two bathrooms. So I shot just one of them, and so they all started running, and so I'd hop over the wall, run into the concession stand, hop out of the building, and they all just like funneled in through that concession stand, and I was just lighting them up with the LED. It was like the easiest
one thing that I loved about the ending, and this will be, well, do you care about it being like complete the ending?
Nah, it's fine.
Okay, so one of the missions that you have to do for Sarah is you have to go find this poisonous plant, right? And
I'm actually on that now.
So you bring in the poisonous plants, and then when everything goes down, and you're fucking up the military camp, and you run into Sarah in the Ark with the Colonel, and he's sitting there with having his fucking tea party, like at the very end, like right before, like, you know, you're about to shoot him, he just fucking like his eyes just roll into the back of his head, and I was like, oh shit, dude, is he turning? Like, is this the final boss? And then his teacup spills over, and you see the plant like flow out of the teacup, and I was like, oh, that bitch poisoned him. And I was like, yes, dude, yes. Like, I loved how that.
I'm glad that there wasn't a final boss. I'm glad there wasn't like some like mega zombie that you had to kill.
That would have been ridiculous.
Yeah. I fucking love the idea.
That would have felt kind of phoned in.
Exactly, yeah.
See, but some games like feel like they have to have that, and I'm really glad that they didn't do that.
Yeah, I liked that the last stage, or like the final stage, was just this all out melee, just fucking war, fucking dope ass. Like, I had so much fun playing that level. I'm just like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm killing you. I'm gonna fuck you guys. I'm gonna make you throw up and die.
I was just a walking fucking tank. I just walked in with the RPD and the deagle, and I just was like, "You're dead. You're dead."
Just go into focus mode and just pop motherfuckers.
Dude, the first half of that I did with the crossbow, and I just did poison bolts, so everybody's just like throwing up and dying, dude. Like, so fucking sad. I'm telling you, dude. Like I said, I killed. It was one of the smaller hordes on the north side of the map, but what I did is I went close to the cave because I'd always go after a horde in the daytime, and so like I do my focus and I'd see them all just sitting there, and so I threw out all my flame arrows and I got to I bit off a quarter of the bar, and then they all started coming and I was just like shooting them with my explosive arrows. Yeah. And then it took down like another good chunk of the bar.
Yeah.
And then fucking I did like all of the residue ones I could do, and so while they're fighting each other, I'm like throwing more fire into them. Dude, I felt like such a fucking badass doing that shit. Yeah. I felt like fucking Rambo.
I will
dog.
tell you, my other favorite gun was the second stubby shotgun that you get.
Oh yeah.
Because nothing was cooler to me than riding on your bike and a runner runs up to you and you blast it, and then you reload that shit like Terminator.
Yeah.
Just while you're riding, and then you just keep going.
Nice. One thing I kind of wish that, I mean, this isn't really like a negative or anything, but it's just like a personal gripe. I wish that the zombies' heads would pop a little bit more.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Dude, you know what was funny,
waiting. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. So, earlier today, actually, I killed this one zombie and her head gets lopped off, but it was like at the top of this hill. So I went to grab the ear, but like her head with the ear is just like rolling down the hill. I'm like, wait, come back! I need that!
Yeah.
So fucking funny.
I don't know, it's just like that satisfying, like, it's like a Resident Evil trope where it's like the zombies like, you know, like running towards you and then you just blast their fucking head off. I did that so many times and like I like never learned my lesson because I like always like would wait. Like if it was always like one zombie, you know, like I usually pick off the stragglers with like a handgun or something, and then as soon as the like a lone one would come, I'd like pull out the shotgun and like wait until it got to like point blank range to shoot him, and it's so unsatisfying for like you to shoot him right in the head and then he just like falls over.
And another thing, so when you run into like the different types of evolved zombies, like when you find that first breaker, like I struggled with that fight.
Yeah, me too.
I fucking hate the breakers.
But the Reacher was like, I just shot it a bunch of times with a shotgun. Dude, it was nothing.
No, the Reacher, dude, like, I had that Ripper bat, like, the Ripper Club, dude, and I just, like, wailed on him, bro. Like,
I had my saw blade bat. I just fucking hacked him to death.
Nothing.
Yeah, he was nothing, dude.
Fuck the breakers, bro.
Yeah.
That was, like, one of the most frustrating fucking enemies in this entire game.
I was thinking about sharing it. I didn't, obviously, but today there were 2 times where, like, I heard a breaker coming after me. I turned around, pulled out my fucking my sniper rifle, and just bam, shot him straight in the head once, and then went into focus. Bam, shot him straight in the head again.
Down. Yeah.
You know that there was that one mission where you have to go to like a visitor center, and then you go and you investigate a clue, and then the biker guy comes flying by, and you have to chase him. So I went to go clear out an infestation there, and I did it, and I was getting ready to leave, and I turned around, and there were 2 fucking breakers charging me along, and then off to the side, like maybe 20 feet away, was a fucking screamer, and I was like, nope, and I just booked it. I just took off.
That shit's crazy. Well, breakers were fucking
Dude, I went terrible. To go take out this one, what was the mission? I was supposed to save some kid from a camp or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was the camp where he's like, oh, I need to find a way in. Because the only way in is that one of those gates that you can blow up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so anyway, there are 2 guys out in front of it. So, you know, I distract one, kill the other, and then go kill the one I distracted. And then I blow up the gate. And there's some grass right there, which is cool. But as soon as you blow up the gate, out comes a breaker, a screamer, and like 3 or 4 regular zombies.
Jesus, yeah.
And the fucked up thing, it just so happened to be at a time where a pack of not 3 but 4 wolves were there.
Oh, fuck.
Also,
dude, I've had that shit happen to me.
I was like, what
that
the
shit
fuck?
is not cool.
Yeah. I ran like hell, dude, and that was one of the times where I popped the breaker right in the head, went into focus, popped him in the head again, and I was like, motherfucker, yes!
Yeah.
And then, and the screamer, for some reason, like, I ran far enough away, I guess, and the screamer just kind of went off on her own, like, just like, whatever.
Dude, the screamers, I think the screamers creeped me out the most out of all of them.
Really?
They were kind of like the Ring.
Yeah, no, they reminded me of the witch. Yeah, the witch from Left 4 Dead. But not only that though, but like if like one of them saw you, or if like one of them was like coming towards you, just like the way that they ran with their hands up like that, and they were just like, that shit scared.
They had that creepy ass humming. So you could know they were there.
I just thought it was funny though, because like most of the time when I came across screamers, they were running away from me. So they're doing that fucking stupid run away from me. And I was like, that shit's funny.
That's great.
You just fucking pop them one time when you drive past them with the handgun.
Dude, bears too. I fucking hated bears.
Dude, I don't fuck with bears. I just run.
I don't fuck with bears. Derek Reese 2019. I don't fuck with bears.
I don't fuck with bears.
Fucking like, especially the zombie ones, like the Ragers. Dude, I was getting taken.
That fucking 2x4 sticking out
yeah,
of
dude.
Cool design.
I was doing a horde, and I was having them chase me.
You weren't.
Yes, I was.
Every one of them.
Yeah, every single one of them. And I had them chasing me in this like circle, right? And I came back the second time around the circle, and there was 2 Ragers, dude, just chilling.
Jesus Christ!
And I'm like, fuck! And so I weave through the Ragers, and I'm like, all right, cool. The Ragers will take care of some of the zombies. I could probably whittle them down better.
Yeah.
Dude, these zombies ran right through these fucking bears. Killed maybe like 2 zombies, bro. And I'm just like, this is bullshit. Like this takes me 1,000,000 years to kill one of them, and all these fucking freakers just roll through and take that shit.
What I fucking love, though, is that, like, if I roll up on a camp, right, where I need to kill a bunch of people, and and there's a good number of zombies around, I'll just make a shitload of noise and then hide in the grass.
I've done that shit sometimes, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, that part of the game works really well.
And then I just sit there and wait while it goes 1 out of 15, 2 out of 15,
it's like
3
that
out of
fucking,
15.
Oh my god, it's like that experience I had with the breaker where I could hear it.
Yeah, and he was just chilling in the grass.
It was nowhere, so I'm like creeping through, like I can fucking hear this thing, because you can hear it, it's like...
Yeah.
Like you can, and from like where I first heard it to where I found it was like yards away.
Yeah.
And I'm creeping through this grass, and I'm like in this bush, and I'm like, okay, I don't hear it, so I stand up and I take a step, and it just pops up the fuck in front of me, and I'm like, ah, shooting at it, like that scared, and I don't think it was like meant to happen that way.
No,
that's where it was,
sure.
but I just happened to encounter it.
That's so funny.
It scared the shit out of me.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I've dug it. I mean, it's
it's a good game.
It's a good game. It's not definitely nowhere near my favorite game, but it is a good game, and it takes a while, but it grows on you.
I would give it probably a 7.5.
I agree. I think a 7.5 is just a right amount of a rating.
I'm an outlier, I guess. I loved a lot of it. I'm gonna give it like an 8.5.
Good job.
Just because I think like there's a lot of love that was put into this game, and it's pretty apparent, and a lot like that 0.5 of the 8.5 is simply from the fact that I'm so fucking excited to see what these guys do next.
I mean,
I hope that there's like DLC and shit.
Like the whole.
So there is DLC, but
challenge mode.
There's like challenge mode, and like I saw the trailer for it, and I'm like, fuck, guys.
It's not like game content.
No.
Like.
Not like story content.
Yeah,
there should be a DLC where you are with the MC.
Yeah,
that would be something
that
I would be
really
interested
cool.
in.
I mean, there were just, for me, there were too many missteps at the beginning of the game that just gave me such a general sense of apathy.
Yeah.
That it came back from that a lot. Yeah. But not enough.
Yeah.
You know?
That first part of the game is rough. But
yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, it's really weird because I really didn't like the beginning of the game, but like the more I played it, the more I liked it. I don't know, I think it's a great game. I think it's worth your time.
I agree. So that concludes our take on Days Gone. If you like the game, go ahead and play it. We all recommend it. Go kill some freakers.
Zombies.
Just run away from the bears.
Just run away.
I don't fuck with bears.
I don't fuck with Derek Reese 2019. You should put that in your Tinder bio. Just I don't fuck with bears.
I don't fuck with bears.
So there's that. As always, you can follow us on social media.
On Facebook at the Nerd Corporation, a podcast.
On Twitter and Instagram at Nerdcourt Podcast.
Or you can shoot us a electronic mail at nerdcourtpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you want to kill hordes and all kinds of other freaky things with us, subscribe to our Patreon. Patreon.com/nerdcourtpodcast. Several tiers of loot to have access to, from stickers and shirts to add-ons and bonus content. So for the Nerd Corporation, my name is Eddie Lyon.
I'm Cole Simper.
I'm Nick Lewis.
And I'm Derek Reese. And I don't fuck with bears.
And I don't fuck with bears.
I'll punch you, Bear.
I don't give a